7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Sage the Mark from It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Mae Young Classic. Oh my goodness, where would that come from? The Mae Young Classic, episode number 3. We have 4 great matches that we're going to be going over today. But before we do that, just want to thank you guys again for continuing to support It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Please be sure, if you haven't already, to like or subscribe to either the YouTube audio or YouTube video, or by going to any of your podcast catchers that you guys have. Search for It's Real Wrestling Podcast, and then there, hit that subscribe button. You can also just search hashtag IRWP, and on your social media, where Twitter, or Instagram, and you'll find us. So let us know that you guys are out there. Let us know what you guys like, what you don't like, what interests you. You can also give us a call at 419-777-IRWP. Or if you like email, you guys can use email too. We still do email, irwpfeedback@gmail.com. Giving that love support for your boys here at IRWP. With that being said, guys, we're going to get into episode number 3. 4 great matches. We have Aiesha, Raymond versus Toni Storm. We got Dakota Kai versus Kavita, Devi. We've got Bianca, Belair versus Sage, Beckett. And we've got Piper Nevins versus Santana, Garrett. Overall, this episode was a little bit more slow-paced than the prior 2 episodes were. I'll definitely get into which one I felt was the best match of this particular episode and the pros and cons on it. So first up, we had Aiesha, Raymond versus Toni Storm. This match was it was relatively a slow-paced match. That Aiesha Storm was more of a powerhouse type of wrestler. She had a great I liked her gimmick, with it being like a feline-based gimmick, with the face paint and things of that nature. Her storytelling prior to the match, the pre-match storytelling of her background, I thought that was pretty good. And Toni Storm kind of reminds me of the Mad Hatter from the Alice in Wonderland theme. She's just very, very quirky, but very, very strong. Very It was an interesting matchup, to say the least, but I felt like overall the wrestling styles didn't really match in the ring. There was a couple of missed spots here and there, nothing to really gripe about. At the end of the day, Toni Storm did ink out a victory on this one using a roll-up, which was kind of surprising. I don't think that was the finish, but again, I think that there was a lot of confusion around this particular match. So, not one of Toni Storm's best matches, I'll say that, but I don't think it was entirely her fault. Still a great match to witness and watch, and a great opener. With that being said, we had Dakota Kai versus Kavita, Devi. I absolutely love this match, guys. This is probably my favorite match of episode 3, and probably my top 3 match overall. Dakota Kai, I believe, is from New Zealand. Team kick all the way, baby. And Kavita Devi, I believe she's from India. I believe she is like a powerlifting bodybuilder kind of thing. But was really, really impressed with this match overall. First off, the theme music for both of these competitors coming out was amazing. Dakota Kavi, I'm mixing both of them together. Dakota Kai had more of that quirky kind of music, and it actually kind of meshed with her character being very colorful. Kavita Devi had more of a strong Indian theme song, like a traditional but upbeat theme song, and I thought that went pretty well. It added to the mystique of this lady. I mean, she's like 6'10", almost 7 feet. Like she's huge. Um, and the music just kind of amplified that mystique, and I like that. Right out of the gate, Kavita Devi was showing her power moves. Test of strength, strong handshakes. Um, but one thing I didn't really caught me off guard, I should say, is that she's very agile and quick on her feet, a lot quicker than most people that are her strength and size. So that was pretty interesting. She actually did a couple times during the match. She actually did um, the old school. It wasn't a full old school like the Undertaker, but it was a quick old school up on the ropes. She just basically went up the ropes unassisted, and then just did her old school, kind of into a somersault, knocking Dakota Kai the other side of the match. So that was pretty interesting. I think the crowd got it was funny because at the start of the match the crowd was kind of like against her and all of Dakota Kai, but once they started to see how well she moved in the ring and how her actions were, people were starting to get right behind her. I like that. I really do. I think this is a monster that the WWE needs. We need more monsters especially in the women's division. And I think that if we can get a um, a Kavita Devi into uh, SmackDown's probably where she would go if not NXT first. But if we can get something like that on there, I think that that would be instrumental in uplifting the, the women's division there. Not to say that it's in bad shape. It's actually the better of the two brands. So um, Dakota Kai very quick, but she sell her for the majority of the match, she was selling. Actually, I dare say during the entire match, she was like the underdog in the entire thing. She was getting power slammed. She was getting tossed around, clotheslined, and to me, this seemed like it was just going to be a landslide victory for Kavita Devi. These women worked very, very well together. The ending, was just so great. Kavita Devi, did an Irish whip to Dakota Kai, and she was in the turnbuckle, and Kavita Devi was just kind of like she was playing the role like, man, I'm too powerful for this woman. Like she's not even competition for me. What am I gonna do? And she just took her extra time, like, and it played very very well because as soon as she went in for for the splash onto Dakota Kai did like a front somersault roll out of the turnbuckle. Dakota Kai or Devi hit the turnbuckle, kind of turned around and rested on it, and like I didn't even know this was even coming. Like this is the first time I've actually seen Dakota Kai. Um, but she did like a little somersault, and she ran like in a boomerang I was like, what the heck is she doing? She basically ran like a boomerang and then gave the Dakota Devi like a Kaluva kick, and it just looked amazing. Like I had to replay that like 4 or 5 times. Probably that so far that is the best move in the tournament. Like I that could have been the finisher for her right there, and I would have been perfectly fine. But that was actually her setup to doing the coup de grace from the top ropes, which was pretty amazing. But that haluva kick, that boomerang haluva kick, so amazing. I am a true fan of Dakota Kai. call me Team Kick because that's what I'm rolling with right now. So, great job. Definitely the best match of this episode. If there's any match that you need to see from this episode, it is definitely that second match, Dakota Kai versus Kavita Devi. I really hope both of these ladies make it to the main roster eventually, or even just on SmackDown or NXT, as I would definitely love to watch both of them go. So again, best match there. So you guys go and check that out. The next one that we had was Bianca Belair versus Sage Beckett. Now Bianca Belair is from NXT. I've only had the privilege of actually seeing maybe one of her matches, but I have to admit I wasn't really too invested in it. Overall, I didn't like Bianca Belair. Her entrance was pretty actually amazing. I have to say that. She comes down to the ring, and as she's posing, she's just kind of she does like this 360 twirl on her heels, kind of reminiscent of Michael, which I thought was pretty cool. Sage Beckett, she has her gimmick is more of like an old school shaman kind of thing. Um, One thing I didn't like is that they kind of built her from Tampa, and I mean I don't know a lot about Florida specifically, but I don't when I think of shamans and stuff like that, I don't really think of them from Tampa, Florida. So I felt like that kind of took away from the mystique, but I get it. It's fine. It's not really a big deal. Nothing really magical with the match to say, but um, I did like the look and feel of them. Bianca Belair, she's actually pretty. How do you say, like, she looks like a power lifter, to be honest with you, like a smaller version of a power lifter. And you could actually see her, in the match, her strong style in the match. Not strong style Japanese strong style, just how she was manhandling or attempting to manhandle Sage Beckett. Sage Beckett was definitely the aggressor for the majority of the match, but Bianca Belair didn't back down at all, which was pretty amazing. And then out of nowhere, like, she takes her hair and she just starts to whip Sage Beckett with it. I'm like, is that even legal? Like that to me, that I was just kind of taken back by that. I thought that was kind of it was different. It was definitely different, and I actually did like that. At the end, Bianca Belair finishes Sage Beckett off with a spear. And I have to say, I think this might be the second spear that I've seen in this tournament, and I've got to say the ladies have wicked spears in the tournament. So kudos to Bianca Belair, Sage Beckett. Um, Pretty decent match overall, guys. And then that leads us into our last match, which is Piper Niven. I believe on the indie circuit they call her the Viper, and Santana Garrett. Santana Garrett, another lady from NXT right now. Um, right off the bat, I have to say that I'm not too in tune with this Santana Garrett, and I might be in the minority when I say this though, but like I wasn't really too big of a fan of her look. She's going for the Wonder Woman look. I get that. I guess the thing that bothers me a lot is that during the match, like she's smiling like 100%, like Apollo Crews kind of smile like 100%. And I think it's kind of distracting from her overall talent in the ring. I think it just needs to be toned down just a little bit so that way it can kind of give some type of mystique. Or like if she's going for the Wonder Woman, like when I think of Wonder Woman, like I think of like grit and like toughness, and when I see Santana Garrett, I see a cheerleader trying to be a Wonder Woman kind of thing. And I don't think that that's what it's intended, but that's kind of what's coming across the screen. So I'm hoping that with just more character development, can fine tune that because she looks the role as Wonder Woman. It just needs to tone the smiling down just a little bit. The match was a really really good match, very very athletic match between both Piper and Santana. Um, Not shocked or surprised on um, how agile Piper Nevins is. I am familiar with some of her indie work, and she can go. She can jump off the top ropes. She can do somersaults. She can, like, she's she's good. So it was good to see these two go together. They told a great story in the ring, um, but in the end, Piper was just a bit too strong, too overpowering, too overwhelming for Santana and Garrett. Gets her with the splash, one, two, three, and that's it, guys. So overall, it's a pretty good episode. I definitely would recommend you guys going and seeing that and checking it out. But most of all, I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about episode number three? What was it that you liked? What you didn't like? Was there something that I missed that you guys wanted me to cover on episode three? Let me know. Use the hashtag IRWP. Visit our website, irwp.us. If you're on Twitter, you can hit at Real WrestleCast on Twitter. Instagram, we're on Instagram. You can hit us up at It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out. If you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button, and leave a note on the comments and let us know how you feel, guys. I should be having episode 4 up next week for you guys. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Really good receptive and feedback from the last two episodes. So thank you guys again for continuing to support us. With that being said, y'all know the role, y'all know the drill. Just keep it real.